Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Henrik Hintze and I'm an equity research analyst here at ABG. With me today I have the CEO of Freemelt, Daniel Gidlund. I'm going to do a bit of an interview here with Daniel, ask some questions about Freemelt and see what answers we get. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Very well. Maybe you could just start us off by giving us a bit of an introduction to Freemelt.
Sure. So Freemelt is a deep tech and a green tech company. We are listed at Nasdaq First North since 2021. The company was founded in 2017 by founders from the previous Arcam that was acquired by GE. Operational wise, we are present in Sweden, so we have an assembly in Linköping, we are present in Gothenburg with the head office, we also now in the UK and also in US, and currently we have 36 employees. So what we do is that we develop and sell 3D printers for metal applications. And we focus only on applications and also materials that make sense for our technology, where the technology really benefit the end application. And the current materials that we focus on now is titanium, it's copper, and it's tungsten. Our technology, which is called electron beam powder bed fusion, is highly suitable for mass production purposes because it has a really high resolution and speed, which of course is really important from a productivity perspective, but also from a total cost of ownership perspective. So far, we have been present in the research area, so we are selling research machines. We have been selling more than 20 machines since the start of the company, and it has been a lot of technology focus. We're moving more into the commercial side, so we established sales during mid 2021, and during 2022 we started to accelerate the commercial side, so we had a good year from a sales point of view. We also launched our industrial printer Freemelt conceptually during 2022 as well, and continue to expand on the commercial side of the business now during 2023. And we just recently as well launched our 2030 strategy.
All right. And how about you? Could you tell us a bit about how you came to join Freemelt?
Sure. Yeah, I don't have any experience about additive, so I spent 10 years in telco first, and then I went into mining equipment, so two totally different kind of industries. But there is some sort of commonalities, and we'll come back to that one. I've been into the aftermarket side of the business my whole career, and I spent my past 15 years at Sandvik at the mining side of the business, again taking care of the aftermarket side. So I was responsible to transform the aftermarket, to commercialize aftermarket, but also drive the business culture within Sandvik as well. I have a commercial background, and if you look into Freemelt as such, we have a really good expertise when it comes to the technical side. So I think that is the part that I will complement to the company. I've been responsible also then to grow businesses internationally. So the reason why I joined Freemelt was that I love to work with changes, and I think it's been more of evolution in the past, both in telco and also in mining side of business as well, more of business models. But I think where Freemelt now is standing in front of, and the whole industry, is really an industrial revolution. So I really felt that this is it's a once in a life opportunity, and also the fact that aftermarket will be a crucial part of the success of this as well. I felt that I can really add something to the business as well.
Sounds good. So the company's first product, the Freemelt 1, was launched a couple of years ago, and so far you've sold a number of these machines. But sales really picked up in 2022 after a bit of a pandemic lull. And then in the first half of 2023, it was a bit slow again, although you just recently announced a couple new orders. But maybe you could tell us a bit about this product and how you view the demand and such.
Sure. So as I mentioned, the Freemelt 1 is for research, so it's institutes, it's universities, and of course if you're in research, you would like to have the opportunity to add both the technology but also software to really get an efficient research. So I think the industry as such has been lacking from open architecture and open source, and this is where we really differentiate with the Freemelt 1. The materials that we're working on, as I said before, is in especially for titanium, which typically can be for implants, but it can also be for other, let's say, applications as well. We have tungsten, which is really an interesting material. There was a huge demand at the moment. I would say, especially in the US, but also global as well. So tungsten has the highest melting temperature in the periodic system, which means that it's highly suitable for certain applications, like in fusion energy, for instance, or so even nuclear as well. But you have also numerous applications where tungsten is being explored, why there is a huge demand currently on that aspect. And then you have copper as well, and of course from an electromobility perspective. So I think our exposure from a demand point of view is really well at the moment. So we really good exposure there, and also US we have managed to get a good traction as well. And in US, just to give you an example, they are investing heavily at the moment now to really bring back their position in metal manufacturing, and they have a program called America Makes, which is pretty much about to industrialize additive manufacturing into the metal manufacturing part. So demand is looking good. With that said, it's quite a lengthy process to work with public in the public institutional side. So and also the fact that the electron beam that we are working on is quite a new technology as well. So it takes some time to really educate the market as well about the possibilities and the values. So in some cases from the start when you introduce it until you really get the purchase order, it can take like 20 months as well. And I think this is what we have been exposed to the first half of 2023 as well. I think our pipe was not strong enough last year. With that said, we haven't lost any order yet. It's been postponed, but I think that's why we saw a drop in the first half. But we spend a lot of time now to really build a stronger pipeline. So hopefully second half of 2023 and especially 2024, I think looks really promising as well.
That's good to hear. As you mentioned in your introduction, you have another product on the way, the eMelt, which you announced late last year. And you plan to release this product at the end of this year, right? Could you tell us a bit about this product, what future you see for it, and what the current status is?
Sure. I think maybe let's take a step back and look more into the why, let me put it like this. Additive manufacturing as such, I mean, it's been around for like 30 years. And the end goal is, of course, that it should replace the traditional manufacturing, or at least complement to a big extent. But I think it has been a couple of obstacles why it's been so slow for making that progress. And I think the first one is what I mentioned before, is about it's really been a closed let's say ecosystem. So most of the OEMs, they are forcing customers to buy the printer, to buy the powder, to buy the software, etc. And which means in the end there are too few standards in the industry. So that has been a big obstacle. The second part is reliability. I think there's too many OEMs as well that has really pushed out non-ready machines to the market. And of course, if you're gonna be in production environment, you need to have an available system and a reliable system as well. So that's also been a bit of a challenge. The second part is availability, and pretty much all the machines so far conceptually is that you block the machine prior to printing. So the pre-work, you have to do all the preparation at the machine and also all the post-work as well. So if you're in production, you would like to have high availability so you can produce parts. And then the last point, which is alluding to my background as well, is service. It's also been a very reactive service approach in the industry as such, and also if you take the industry I'm coming from, for instance, I mean in mining you use a lot of data, you collect a lot of data, and you then try to have a more preventive service. So all these areas now we have tried to take into consideration when we finalize the design of the machine, so we can really take a clear kind of position and get the lowest total cost of ownership as well. And as you said, we launched this concept end of last year, and we are now in life cycle testing of core components, and that's also, I think, a key point to highlight, that Freemelt 1 and the 20 machines that we have out in the market is we're utilizing the same core technology as well. So we have received a lot of feedback from that in the past as well, which we of course, I mean, now is trying to improve as well for Freemelt. And then last but not least, we also identified 2 industrial partners since 2 years, which are both experienced additive users as well from a production point of view. So we have also got a lot of feedback to make sure that eMELT now is really fit for purpose for certain kind of applications in titanium, in tungsten, and in copper moving forward. So I think we're making good progress, and the intention is to have eMELT printing parts at the customer site in Q1 next year.
All right. Well, everyone is very excited for the release later this year, but and you started alluding a bit to it. What can we expect once you release it? How will you be able to get this out to the market? You mentioned you've developed it in cooperation with some companies to suit their demands. What can we expect? How are you going to be able to scale sales of this product once you release it?
Yeah, I think one of the key areas to enable a good, let's say, spike in volumes is supply chain. So of course, where we are spending a lot of time now is really to establish an agile supply chain. So we have already now identified areas where we can optimize that part. Secondly, I think it's very important, of course, when you get the machine out to the market, that you also work very close to customers. You're very agile to feedback. So before you start to scale up, that you really have a reliable machine as well, that you can then scale up as well. Otherwise, I think it will be very time consuming to fix all the potential issues. But then thirdly, it's also of course to recruit a different kind of sales organization. So when it comes to Freemelt 1, it's more of a transactional sales approach. This type of sales approach for industry, it's more value selling. So this is why we need to have more of account management. So that's also where we trying to build up now as well. And then I think it's also important when you start to get machines out there as well, that you also work side by side by customers, and you also try to identify new type of opportunities, applications. So we will also establish what we call customer application centers in the big regions as well out there, and try to help customers then to identify new opportunities that will drive demand as well for eMELT moving forward.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. So what's the long-term plan? Once you start getting some printers out there, start building a base, what's the plan to capitalize on that and drive further sales down the line?
I think this is where, as I said initially, where I also thought I could add some good value to this.
Yeah.
So I think the aftermarket part will be crucial part for Freemelt, but also for the industry. So of course you need to get a bigger install base, of course, before we can start to capitalize on that one. But I think the digital services area is important, that we make sure to collect data, that we make sure to analyze data, that we make sure to bring some added value through this information to customers as well. So as I mentioned, the reliability center will be crucial for us. I think also when we become more mature, when the machine is more mature, and also the customer relationship is more transparent, I think then most probably we'll move more into performance type of contracts. So instead of selling equipment, which is very transactional, that we more maybe sell per printed part, for instance. But this I would say it's in a couple of years time, so not from the start. So I think the business models will change moving forward.
All right. And to finish, maybe you could talk a bit about your competitiveness, Freemelt's competitiveness, what competitors there are, and how you are going to take a chunk out of the market here. There's also been some M&A discussions between a few of your competitors. Maybe you want to comment on that.
Sure. I think in our strategy now, where we say we're going to be a 100 million company by 2030, one big portion of penetrating to that success will be that we remain our open source approach, to really have a more collaborative approach, because the 3D printing part is just a small part of the production process for our customers. So that will be key for us moving forward. I think a lot of our competitors still use the closed architecture, the closed, also then from a powder point of view, that you need to buy everything from them. So here I think we will definitely be able to differentiate strongly. Then from a concept point of view as well, our concept is, I mentioned about the availability. So we have 4 smaller build modules, and when it comes to additive manufacturing, these 2 key components, it's to melting speed and it's cooling speed. And as smaller build module you have, as more efficient you become. So that's another key differentiator. And then the other part is that we have interchangeable build modules done. So instead of blocking, as I said before, in the preparations and also in the post work, we can have a very efficient transfer of the build modules. So you swap out the ones that are finished, and you put in the new ones that are prepared in the different locations in the factory. So availability go up, productivity goes up, etc. So I think that's where we're definitely going to differentiate. Competitors, I mean, GE is the number 1 currently, so that bought Arcam. But the positive thing is that we can see also new competitors in electron beam that is coming in as well. So there's roughly 9 totally now globally, which is good that it gets more attention and focus on this. The merger and acquisitions you mentioned, I mean, there is a fragmented industry, and I think it's a consolidation that is needed. We need to get more standards in place as well. So I see that as positive. Hewlett Packard has been doing acquisitions this year, and Nikon as well. And then of course we have the 3 big OEMs, so 3D Systems, Stratasys, and Desktop Metal, where there is mergers and acquisitions talk happening as well. So I think all in all it's in a good favor for Freemelt now. The attention and focus on mass production, where we have a really suitable concept moving forward, is getting there. And so I think timing wise to get the email out and to establish this industrial segment for Freemelt it's a perfect timing. So I'm really excited about the future ahead for us.
Thanks a lot. And thank you all for listening to this interview. Have a good day.